to live without it. And if that's your love language, what's up, Dawood? We're talking about how to create effective communication. Now, we're talking about Dawood. We're talking about effectively communicating through the love languages. We're saying, and we know we're saying that we always have struggles communicating, but if we took the time to learn out took the time to learn what it takes to make our partners tick, or what it takes to get their attention, or to make them feel valued, or make them feel loved, then we can become a little bit more effective in this whole love thing, Dawood. That's where we are. Dawood is one of our good conversationalists, so I want to bring him up to speed. Okay. What kind of quality time you want? Okay. We right now we're talking about how to make a person who is whose love language is physical touch, how to make them feel loved. That's what we're talking about right now. Victoria, who said her love language is touch, she said she needs hugs, kisses, booty rubs, smacks. All right. Hold on. I got to go get one more right quick. Hold on. She said, let me read it out loud again. Hold on. She said hugs, kisses, booty rubs. Oh, Lord. Holding hands, washing hair, massages, hand on thighs, while driving. Oh, yeah. Hand on drive. Yeah. Embraces from behind, small touches that are unexpected. All those things. One more. Oh, Lord. Oh. That's good. So those are ways that someone whose love language is touch, that's a way to make her feel loved. Africa, she said, let's watch a movie with your head on my lap. I'm melting. I'll almost put my thumb in my mouth. I wouldn't. I said almost. I'm just joking. Nikki Mack, what you talking about tonight? Nikki said kissing, full body rubs, cuddling, being affectionate, laying my head between his legs while watching a movie show, bathing my body in the shower, all those types of things. Hold on. I got to go back down here and get this one more time. Now y'all keep messing with me. Oh, Lord. Okay. Yeah. So those are all different ways of loving somebody on their love language, if their love language is physical touch. What you say, Africa? Africa said, and I'm automatically giving back rubs, so there's no point in running. I've been told I have a very nice nice touch, the Midas touch, if you will. So, hey, I get it. Phoenicia said, oh, shoot, hold on. Is it time for another commercial? I'm trying to figure out. Phoenicia said, drop me off when I get out of the shower, and then rub me down with oil. These are all things. Phoenicia, what is your love language? Is your love language physical touch? So all of these are things that you can do for a person whose love language is physical touch. And this is the key, ladies and gentlemen, those of you all who are late to the party, if you hadn't been on the whole time. This is the thing. We read a study earlier in the show that said 65% of mental health professionals say that the reason why divorces happen and marriages fail is because of lack of communication or poor communication. So we're trying to find a launching pad or a diving board or some type of foundational principle that we can use to build from to help us effectively communicate with our love interests. That's what we're trying to do. Let me see. Conjua said, she said, find ways to meet each other's needs. If one is sick, how would you help the other person? I want the sickness and health and losing someone. Are you going to comfort me? If you know I'm going to make a decision, or you're going to support me or not, don't just say you love me. How are you showing me love? By cooking a meal, taking care of home. Okay, so now what we're doing at this moment right here, Conjure, and I get all those things are good, because I think you just named all 7 of the 5 love languages. But what we're doing now is we are what we're trying to do is we're trying to isolate each love language so that we can foster an atmosphere of effective communication. And by this time in the relationship, we already know what our other person's love language is. So we want to make sure that we're loving them on their love language. And prayerfully in return, they'll love us on our love language. Now, we've already done, which ones have we done already, ladies and gentlemen? We've done words of affirmation. We've done physical touch, and we've done quality time. Now, here's the next one. If you're loving someone, is there anyone on the line right now whose love language is acts of service? Anthony, I know you said yours was. What someone whose love language is acts of service? How would you make that person feel loved? Someone whose love language is acts of service. How would you make that person feel loved? Y'all talk to me real quick. How would you make that person feel loved? That's the goal tonight. This is an exercise. Like I said, we can get deeper into these love languages and we can talk about our personal stories. And listen, the phone line is open. I'm always open for testimony. You know, after the shows, after I finish my material, we can always go back and talk about some of the things that some of your personal experiences and all those types of things. But I want to know, real talk, if your love language is acts of service, what can someone do what can someone do to make you feel loved? Talk to me. Tell me something good. What is it? Someone who's, because I know it's some of you all on here. If you, Victoria Stahl is calling. I feel you might have something to say. All right, I just put the link in the chat again for those of all who don't want to call, but would prefer to do the video aspect of it. If you want, like I said, but if you want to call in, or I really just want to know, what can a person do if your love language is acts of service? What can a person do to make you feel loved? What's some very small things they can do that'll make you feel loved? Okay. All right. There we go. Viola said, do chores together. Offer to help. I like that. Okay. Victoria said, meet the needs without being asked. That's probably the most individualized love language because each person's needs are specific to them. Okay. Africa, she said, make sure my partner is happy and fulfilled. Is what makes me feel happy and fulfilled. Heavy on giving more than receiving. But the more I'm poured into and dated on, the more my love and passion is released and unlocked. Okay. Nikki Mack, she said acts of service, making sure that you know their needs and act upon it. Fill up their love tank, or fill up their tank. Okay. Make sure, oh, you're not talking about love tank, you're talking about your gas tank. I'm sorry. I used the love tank earlier. Fill up their tank, make sure he has his necessities when he gets off work, whether it's food, cigars, cognac, run, his bath, all that. Now, he did brag on you, Nikki, for doing those things for him. He did. Conjura said, I should not have to keep asking you to help me. If they know your love language is acts of service, you shouldn't have to ask. If they know that your love language is acts of service, you should not have to ask. Phoenicia said, listen to what they say. Ensure that their needs are met. Okay. Now, let me just throw this caveat in here. Okay. And I've said it a few minutes ago, but I'm going to say it again. If you are getting to know somebody and they're not loving you the way you feel like you should be loved, it's okay to tell them how you prefer to be loved. For instance, I used this analogy earlier. If they keep sending you gifts over and over again, but Africa, they're not stopping by to say hello, then they're not loving you the way you want to be loved. And so you're not going to be filled or fulfilled, and therefore your love tank is going to be empty. And when a car's tank is empty, it can't go. It won't move. It stays stuck right where it is. And a lot of relationships, I believe, are staying stuck is because we're not taking the time, and I might be guilty, I ain't gonna lie, to learn our partner's love language and then make a concerted effort to make sure we feel that love tank. Because once we feel that, put it like this, the foreign cars, right, especially high-end foreign cars, they require 93 octane fuel. That's a much cleaner, higher grade fuel. And it's necessary to make the car go. If a car requires 93, what you think a body requires? We require, hold on, see what we got right here. No, let me. All right, let me get. All right, let me get Victoria. Hold on 1 second, Victoria. Let me get you on the line. 1 second. Get her. Can you hear me? Oh, we got you. Cool. All right. All right, cool. Sorry. I am old. Thank you. I appreciate that. Make me feel old. All
It's
right.
my physiologist habit. I even say it to my 6-year-old.
Okay, well, no, he definitely. All right, so talk to me. What are some ways you can make a person whose love language is acts of service? How do you make them feel love?
So, and I personalize everything. I'm an expert on myself.
Okay.
And so for me in my relationship, it's alleviating stress, things that I either may miss or overlook or don't like to do or hate to do, taking out the trash. I hate taking out the trash. So my significant other takes out the trash. Making sure that my oil change is done on my car because I'm forgetful, and that's sometimes not the highest priority when I'm overwhelmed with so many other things.
Gotcha.
So when I think of acts of service, it's taking some of the stress off of the day to day, or recognizing the big things. So I'm currently in school working on my master's, and I'm in an internship. So one of my biggest factors is I have to secure my children when I'm at my internship. And so he steps up and makes sure that on certain days, I don't have to worry about, okay, who's going to pick them up from school, where they're going to be. He just does it. And so for me, that's a big, big thing. He takes my son to Taekwondo one day a week, and I do the other day that he has it on in the week. So it's sharing the load is another way that I think it's good to look at that, because it is stressful. It is a lot. And for one person to carry the full weight of whatever it is in the relationship isn't very fair, and it's not equitable. So where I may be able to do something one day, he may not be able to do. So it's not, oh, well, I mean, every other day you do it. Why can't you do it today? It's okay. And let's adjust and make sure that this works, because you make sure I'm taken care of on this side. So for me, acts of service is just stepping into where I may fall short or where there may be a gap. And we share that. Other things I'm able to step in and do. So for me, acts of service comes from spending so much time having to carry the full weight of my day-to-day life on my own, that having somebody to share that with, or somebody to take some of that load, is incredible. I think that's probably a good word to describe that relationship.
It's a darn good word. Let me ask you a question. What's his love language? What's his love language?
His love language is physical touch and words of affirmation.
Okay. And you make sure you love him on those, because I listen, I know how hard it was to get my master's. I get it. So raising children with activities and working on a doctorate, I know that can consume a lot of time, but it's only for a season, right? It's only for year 2, however long it takes to get that
Correct.
done. So a person who's invested understands that it's only for a season. So they're cool, maybe not getting it as much as they would normally get it. You understand what I'm saying? But the fact that and that's my problem, Victoria, is that a lot of times I think we're so one-sided on the relationship that we want people to love us a certain way, but we don't take the time to love them the way they need to be loved as well. And I think it just flows so much easier if we operate with knowledge that his love language is words of affirmation, right? His love language is physical touch. So
Correct.
that means if we sitting on the couch and I'm reading this book, I got this laptop in my lap, I can actually, sit beside you and our legs can just touch each other and you're satisfying his need. You understand what I'm saying? So I get that, and I appreciate the fact that you all recognize that, and so you can testify that there are some good men out here. Is it true?
Oh, absolutely. Oh, absolutely. But it took me.
Okay.
And I don't know who may end up mad at me later, but it is what it is. It took me recognizing that he brought more to this relationship than I did in terms of emotional awareness and on some level emotional maturity, because it had been so long since I had been in a relationship, in a romantic relationship.
Did that sound like accountability? Hold on.
Hold
on. I gotta take another. Hold on. That's almost like this whole vulnerability thing a minute ago. Y'all gonna make me pass out today. I used the word vulnerable today, and you just took account. I'm joking. I'm being facetious. He brought more to the relationship.
Vulnerability is one of my favorite words.
I hate it. I ain't gonna lie to you. I hate it with a passion. But he brought more to the relationship. And what? Say that again, please, ma'am.
In terms of his emotional awareness and his emotional maturity, because I am, and we talk about it in our relationship. I'm a very heavy communicator, so I maybe sometimes overshare. And when we got together, it was like, oh, you need to know all of this stuff about me. And he took that in with understanding to say, that may be how you handle things before, but you're trying to do things differently. And I was like, oh, well, yeah, that's true. But I met him and he came into my life at a very specific time where I was recognizing within myself, I was ready for something different than what I had been doing the, previous 5-10 years of my life. And so when we met, I chose to just go into a space to meet people. He shows up and I'm like, oh, okay, you're cool. Let's hang out. We can go on some dates. Number one, I didn't set expectations for, okay, we're going to go on a date. By second date, he's going to really like me. By the third date, he's going to call me his girlfriend. Like, I didn't have any of that. It was just, oh, let's hang out. And I very clearly articulated to him, I wasn't setting any expectations for what we were doing. I was just going with the flow of how it was going to progress naturally. And I love that about where we are, because he acknowledges, okay, Victoria, you need to, I see you're trying to work on this. This is how I recognize what you're working on. So he comes back, and I think next to gifts, my bottom love language is words of affirmation, because to me sometimes words are really pretty, but if you don't have action behind them,
yeah, I see that,
then there's no substance. So that's me. But for us, and back to kind of how this all started in terms of communication,
Mm-hmm.
I was able to communicate how I internalize and externalize love in the physical way.
Yeah.
It's not, and like you said before, it's not about sex.
No.
But sometimes if you just sit next to me on your phone, I'm on my phone, we're good. That's good for me.
Yeah.
But we have to communicate that.
Yeah.
And he was aware of why it was important for me.
Let me ask you, I'm not trying to be too nosy. Is there an age difference? Or y'all the same age?
Not significantly. He just turned 40 and I just turned 38.
Okay. So there's not a significant age difference. Okay. But y'all are grown now. Listen, when men turn 40, that we pick up that, a lot of us, we pick up that we acquire that metaphorical remote control, right? Life kind of starts to slow down a little bit. We can press pause, we can press play, we can stop, you know what I'm saying? A lot of us, because we start to process a little bit different. So things start to kind of slow down. I think for me, 40 is when I kind of started to make that turn for the better. But I appreciate you for calling in, Victoria. Hopefully you'll be able to make the event in Little Rock in May. But
I'll be there.
You'll be there? Okay, good,
Mm-hmm.
good,
Nope,
good.
I'll be there.
All right, cool. All right, thanks for calling in. We got one more to do, and we'll get off here and call it a night. Thanks for calling in. Talk to you later, okay?
All right, thanks. Absolutely.
All right, bye-bye. Yeah, I am literally in shock. A woman has taken. I'm about to pass out. I had to do a commercial earlier when I used the word vulnerable, but now she said, "Wow!" But that's good. Thank you, Victoria, for calling in. I'm being facetious, but I'm really joking. I'm joking a little bit. So, if a person's love language is acts of service, there are certain things that you can do to make them feel comfortable, and part of that is just doing things without having to ask. Remember, I had a friend one time. I think I'm trying to think of something I did that maybe might have qualified as acts of service. Oh yeah, I sent them a car wash. I sent them some so they can go and get a detail done on their car. I wasn't in town, so good night, Jackie. Thank you, sweetie. We'll talk. Can we go to the 24th instead of the 19th? No, I'll call you tomorrow. I'm joking. Don't get mad at me. But yeah, things you can do for somebody to help them. Those are good things. Those would be a good thing. Shouldn't it be a given? Emmanuel, it could be a given, but what we're working on tonight, Emmanuel, is we're actually talking about people's specific love languages. Now, it could be a given, but Emmanuel, if that's not that person's love language, they might not. You might be saying, "I'm doing a good deed," but that's not their love language, so they're not going to feel fulfilled. And then you'll sit here saying, "Well, hell, I got your yard cut. I got your," but that's not what fulfills them. Her love language might be physical touch, or her love language might be words of affirmation. You're doing what you feel like needs to be done, and that's a good thing. I think it's admirable. I think it's noble, because as men, sometimes we just pick up the ball. We think certain things should be done, but if that's not what fulfills them, then sometimes what we're doing is counterproductive. And what we're trying to do is we're trying to figure out, because communication is one of the biggest issues that we have in relationships, we're trying to find the most effective way to communicate with whoever our love interest is. Does that make sense? That's what we're doing. So if you go back and catch the show, we talked about if someone's love language, yeah. And you're coming in at the end, so you missed all this stuff that we've already talked about. You're right. Those conversations do come in. And in that conversation, we learn what their love language is. So, like, for instance, I told him my love language is words of affirmation. So with words of affirmation, I like compliments. I like to hear I love you. I like to hear certain things. If my love language is physical touch, then we might like to cuddle. We might like to just, how you've been with somebody, you just want to just kind of ease your leg over there and touch their leg, all those types of things, right? The only one we have not done so far is the giving gifts things, right? Oh, no doubt, Anthony. We should always, and Emmanuel, but everything you're saying, you're coming in, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. But I think sometimes, and here it is again, Emmanuel. You correct me if I'm wrong. sometimes as men, we feel like certain services should be done or certain things should be done, so we just do them. And I think sometimes ladies expect us to do those things so that we don't get credit for them when we do them, if we are looking for credit, if that makes sense. I don't know. I'm perhaps in this. But the last and final one tonight that we have not discussed is and Emmanuel, I appreciate you for being on tonight, man. But gift giving. If someone's love language is gift giving or receiving gifts, then we love them on their love language. Now, if someone is a love language is gift giving, then how does that work? Phoenicia, you help me with that. Is that the person who's receiving the gift or the person who's sending the gifts? Who's actually doing the loving in that instance? Because I know certain people who are just givers, and it makes them feel good to give gifts. I went so many years without getting gifts. I could care less about gifts, and all of a sudden I met somebody who started sending me a bunch of thoughtful gifts, just little thoughtful things. And I was like, wow. And all of a sudden I just started smiling again so I don't know. And actually, when I took my love language test a couple of years ago, gift receiving and all that stuff was at the bottom. When I took the 3 tests today, it moved up to number 3. That's weird, but it happened. It's weird. But who is the person that's doing the loving in that instance? The person that's sending the gift? Okay, thank you. I thought it was a person who was receiving the gift. I think it's both. I've read in some instances where it's sending and receiving gifts, but I didn't look at it from the standpoint until right now that the person who's sending the gift that's their way of loving as well. Yeah, that makes sense. And so, and it's not, and it doesn't always have to be extravagant gifts. We used to always wait until Valentine's Day and Christmas and birthdays to give the iPads or the expensive cologne or the jewelry or things of that nature, right? Because we think that that's how we show love. And we're in this society right now with this whole 50-50 stuff and people just giving people money. Abnormal. People have expectations. I told you, I met somebody one time online, and within 15, 20 minutes, they was asking me for some money to buy lunch, some money to buy a book. I'm like, I don't even know you. But I don't know. I think that's kind of a warp. It's kind of warped. It's created a warped mentality. Let me see what Phoenicia says. Phoenicia said that is their way of showing this person. That is their way of showing their person love. They may not be good at using words, so words of affirmation. Instead of it may be gift giving. Okay. Yeah. Ain't nobody, Emmanuel, you're absolutely right. Ain't nobody gonna take advantage of James because I see. Watch this. I can say no in so many. I can say no. I can say it in sign language. Look at it. I can say in Pig Latin, "oh nay." I can say it in Spanish, "no." I can say no in so many different ways. So, and nobody gonna use me. Now, if I give it, it's because I want to give it, and I am a giver to whoever I want to give to. That's all I'm saying. So I'm an expert at saying no. I can even say it like, hell no. Hell no. I can say it a whole bunch of different ways, man. But I'm joking. I'm laughing, but very serious. But if it's somebody that I care about, and if that person, if that's their love language, and I have to communicate with that, then and I pay attention. I mean, I'm a chameleon in a lot of areas. So if I see how you're doing how you move, then I'm probably gonna move. I'm probably gonna change how I move a little bit, right? So I mean, that's good. Let me see. Anthony love using that most term. Most. Did you do some statistical data? Anthony said most men our gift giving is very simple. Don't get me wrong. Getting a tie or socks is cool, but put some thought in it. Okay, you're right on that. Phoenicia said, I believe a person who has that type of love language can be challenging. How so? Okay, she told me, you may run the risk of hurting them badly if a gift is repeatedly rejected. That's why communication is also key. Phoenicia is our resident therapist, so I appreciate that. That makes sense. Anybody agree with that? Anybody that might be your love language? You see what Phoenicia is saying? You might agree with that. You may risk hurting them badly if a gift is repeatedly rejected. And rejected mean not appreciated. Is that another way of saying that? Not appreciated. Let's see. Conjua said her love language. Gift giving is my love language, not just in a relationship, also friends. I don't really expect gifts, but I do love it. If I get a gift, if a person is in a bad place, don't worry yourself. If you bless me with your heart, it helps me with things when things is needed. But okay, I get that. Let's go back. She said, you may be hurting them badly if a gift is repeated. Because I think that's, and this was just actually revealed to me just a moment ago. But I think for so long, when we talk about the love language of sending and receiving gifts, we focus on the fact of receiving gifts, that we don't focus on the sending aspect of it. And the person who is sending the gift is emitting or speaking in their love language. Yeah, that's good, Phoenicia. I appreciate you for that. I appreciate you. Jesse Horton, so he said the air fryer he hasn't opened up yet. So somebody gave you a gift. So gifts wasn't your love language then. Is that what you're saying? Who's pitching? Oh, okay, that's them. I'm watching the Braves and Astros. I was supposed to go to Houston this weekend, today, but I mean tomorrow, but I don't feel like going. All right. Yeah. So Jesse, what's your love language, Jesse? If you all have not taken the love language quiz, go to my page and take it. Learn your love language. What it is, love language. Your love language is receiving gifts, or it's not, Jesse? It is. So they gave you an air fryer, but you haven't opened it yet. Okay. Yeah. But yeah, go to my page and take the love language quiz so you'll know your love language. Sometimes we think we know them. Like I said earlier, I took 3 separate quizzes today, and I tried my best to really answer the questions a little different and I tried to control the outcome, right? But it came up the same every time. My love language is words of affirmation. Go ahead, go to my page. Or Google free love language quiz, whatever, and learn your love language. And if you're dating someone, if you are dating someone, if you're in a relationship or you're desirous of being in a relationship with someone, take the time to communicate and find out what their love language is. And conversely, if you are the person or with someone and that person is not loving you or the way you feel like you should be loved, or they're trying to send you gifts, but you need acts of service, don't hesitate. Please, ma'am, please, sir, stop the madness because all it's going to do is create confusion. It's going to be wasted energy because that person is loving, especially if they're loving to their full capability. They're putting all of this effort into you. They're putting all this effort into loving you, but you're not receiving it because that's not how you want to be loved. Let's view it like this. Let's take Dr. Chapman's advice and let's assume that anyone that we're dating, not everyone, anyone that we're dating, let's assume that person has a love tank. Let's assume that person has a love tank, and we have what it takes free. It ain't $3.49 a gallon. It ain't $3.69 a gallon. It's not $4.09 a gallon. It's free. We have what it takes because we enjoy that person enough. We like that person enough. We want to explore more with this person. We're going to do what's necessary to fill that person's emotional love tank. We're going to do what it takes to fill that person's emotional love tank. And the way we're going to do that is we're going to find out what their love language is. And once we find out what their love language is, we're going to love them on their love language. Let me see what Emmanuel said. It goes back to keeping your mouth closed and your eyes and ears open to find out what's really going on with that person. You're right. But I'm gonna be honest. Sometimes if my eyes can't see it, because I might be blind, if my ears can't hear it, because I might be deaf, we can communicate through sign language. We can we can find. You can tell me how you want to be loved, and I'm gonna ask. Certain things. As a hunter, I want to find out, but I do want to know. And if you let me guess initially and I guess wrong, be woman enough to tell me, hey, that ain't my spot. That's not working. Did I say that? That's not working. That's not working. Let's see what Jess's crazy behind said. Jason said she always sees the air fryer and feels unappreciated, but I rarely cook though. So she bought you something. I got you. And yeah. Yeah, but you rarely. The air fryer. Hey, you can fry some good naked fried chicken in that joke. You ain't got to put no batter or nothing on that joke. Just season it, throw it in there from 350 for about 17 minutes. I got to get me a new chair. This chair's starting to hurt my back. I'm getting too old for this. But Emmanuel throwing all the cliches. He said, "Believe nothing you hear and half of what you see." Absolutely. But listen now, Emmanuel, I get that. Now I feel you. But we're assuming that we're starting off with 100. That all things are good. We're not talking about relationships that have been tainted by social media and bad advice and all that. We're talking about when all things are operating optimally, and we're sincerely trying to get to know each other. Everybody start like I've said before. I used to teach my children when they went off to school every year that on the first day that they all had 100, and that meant they had all A's. And anything they lost during the course of the semester, they lost it. That's their fault. They went from an A to a B to a C. But my children never got C's, but they lost those points. I think in a relationship, we should start off with 100. And as time goes, if we start to recognize, not look for red flags, as we start to recognize them, then we start to deduct points, right? So in this instance, I want to say we're starting off with 100. We're taking time to communicate, to court, so we can be effective communicators, because we're communicating through our love language. If I know what you like, for instance, if someone says they want to cook me dinner, and I have told them prior to going to their house that I have a very bad shellfish allergy, and I get to their house and they cook shellfish, is that effective? Will that work? Number one, I'm not going to eat it because I don't want to die. I don't want to stick an EpiPen in me. I don't want my throat to close up. So that meant that person's not loving me the way okay. Yeah. That's what I'm trying to say. Let's see what Conju was talking about her pastor. She said, my pastor says sometimes people doesn't grow up in a home that the family parent says I love you. If you date someone who is used to saying I love you, it could be a big problem. This is why you must learn each other and see what we really like about each other. Absolutely. Exactly. Someone wasn't listening because they might think, Phoenicia, that they make the best shrimp etouffee and they want to show off their signature dish. But I told them, I very distinctly said that I'm allergic to shellfish. They're not listening. If someone has told you that their love language is words of affirmation, but rather than affirm them, you don't even call, but you steadily sending flowers and you steadily sending expensive gifts, and that doesn't move everybody. It doesn't move everybody. Like, for instance, you can't get me with some things you'll get other men with. If you're leading with sex, that's probably not going to get me. Because I'll bore easily. I get tired. I get so bored on that one so fast that'd be over. Be done. Need substance. And when you start feeling someone's, you know what, you get better gas mileage when you got more gas in your tank. So if a person's emotional love tank is full, it's just things just have a way of operating magic. Conjure, does your pastor teach you about spiritual warfare and rebuking? Because I rebuke you in the name of Jesus. If you're talking about if you ever wear, you said it right. If I ever wear matching pajamas, I'm not. So you will not meet her because she doesn't exist. No, actually, there she is, you see her. That's what she looked like. Her. That's what I want to be wearing matching pajamas with. Nobody. Nope. So it's not gonna happen. So those are the love languages that we let me see what Victoria. Victoria said we have to listen to understand and not just to respond. In a situation like this, the seafood, that person already had a plan and had no plan to change it. Lacks respect. Absolutely. But am I right? Does that happen in relationships? It does. That's like old boy said on my page last week. He said he met some young lady. He said they had barely started dating, and she went and bought 2 T-shirts, and both T-shirts made a sentence. He said he ran like a pit bull was on him. He said he got out of that quick because he said he saw where that was going. He said she was a beautiful, nice lady, but that wasn't where he was. That wasn't where he was. And you have to take the time because we have such a cookie cutter mentality that we think that we can put a one size fits all way of loving on everybody, and that everybody will respond to that type of love. And that's simply not the case. That's simply not the case. So this has been an interesting conversation. Conjure, I appreciate you for suggesting that we talk about this love languages, because we are trying to bond the sexes. We are trying to get past this battle of the sexes, and the way that we can stop battling, is by learning how to effectively communicate. One size fits all. You mean you just have to adjust, right? Nah. I don't think there is a one size fits all. Adjusting. I think every relationship is. Listen, Emmanuel. This is my contention. Now, like I said, I'm just James. I'm your friend. I'm just talking from my experience. I think if God made us all individually and unique, and he anatomically gave us all different fingerprints, I think that we should all be dealt with as individuals and not as a one size fits all, right? We shouldn't. If you're dating a woman, you shouldn't go in with an assumption. You should go in eyes open, ears open, heart open, willing to learn. Now, I ain't gonna lie, I'm learning this. I was married 20 years, and I've messed up some potentially good relationships since then, because I didn't know how to receive nor give does it make sense? So a lot of what I do, and Phoenicia can send me a bill later on, and your pastor Conjure can send me a bill, because they're both therapists later on. But a lot of what I do is therapy, so I can learn, because I realize the mistakes that I've made. So I think if we learn how to learn, Emmanuel, the lady that we are leaning towards, we learn what her love language is, and then communicate with her on her love language, I think that creates effective communication, and effective communication should definitely be the goal. That's just my contention. That's just what I believe. And I think if we do that, I think then it takes a lot of confusion out, because now guess what? We start to fill up that emotional love tank. We start to fill up that emotional love. Speaking out loud speaks more volume. I get it. Some people need to hear it. Some people need to see it. According to some people earlier in the conversation, Conjure, she said, one woman said, you can, if her love language was acts of service, she said, you can talk, if my love language ain't words of affirmation, you can talk to me all day long, but if I don't see it, it doesn't mean anything to me. And that's what I'm saying, Emmanuel, because everybody is different. Like earlier in the conversation, Africa said her love language was quality time. So I said, if he gets off work and comes to your house and falls asleep on the couch, would you be offended? Victoria was joking, but she said, no, that's not a date. Or she said, I want to go on real dates. That makes sense. But I said, Victoria, what's your love language? It was not quality time. But when Africa answered, Africa said, oh, I wouldn't have a problem if he came over and fell asleep on the couch. In fact, when he woke up, I'll probably have a nightcap for him and probably have a meal for him, because that's her love language. Quality time. That's like, let's put 3 people in the room. Let's put someone who speaks Spanish. Let's put someone who speaks Swahili, and then somebody who speaks English. And neither one of them have ever had a communication, never been in any other environment other than the language that they're used to speaking, right? How can they communicate? They can't. It's hard. Now, they can do nonverbal things. They can point, smile, all those things. But is that really effective communication? Now, we have tools by knowing love languages that will help us communicate effectively with our potential love interests. Why don't we use them? That's a rhetorical question. But why don't we use them? If it can help us communicate more effectively. If I know Lakeisha's love language is acts of kindness or acts of service, then I need to realize that no matter how things go, I can buy her this, I can give her money, I can send cash apps all day long, and she gonna probably send them back, because that's not how she communicates. Does that make sense? I know it don't, because some of y'all say, I ain't finna send her, ain't no way in the world, she crazy, she sends some money back. But if that's not her love language, then ask, what's your question? Or do you want to call in and ask it? I got a phone, hold on. If you don't want to type it, I'm gonna put the phone number up again. That's the phone number if you want to call in, or you can type it in and I'll answer it. Or if I can't answer it, we got a whole bunch of people in this chat that are saying some good stuff. Emmanuel saying some good stuff. Anthony saying some real good stuff. Phoenicia saying some good stuff. Victoria saying some good stuff. All of y'all, Africa, all of y'all are on it tonight. I appreciate you. But what's the question? Let's talk. Oh, Lord, it's 10:50. I got to start winding down. I didn't realize I've been on this long. I didn't realize it. All right, so after I answer her question, we're going to start winding down, and we got to start getting ready to go. Listen, we are still preparing for the Bonding of the Sexes 2 in Little Rock, Arkansas on May the 4th at 6 p.m. Well, the VIP reception starts at 6 p.m. and that will be from 6:45. From 6 to 6:45, and then at 7 o'clock we will start our actual event. Hold on, let me get her question. Hold on, Victor. This has been great. Oh, if you are interested in someone, is it wrong to tell them you don't play about being hit on by a man? Hell no, ain't nothing wrong with telling somebody that. Shoot, no, you shouldn't have to tell them that. Well, Lakeisha, you went and took the test, and you said yours has changed. However, it makes sense. What was it initially, and what is it now? Thank you, Victoria, and tell somebody else about us. We have these conversations every Monday night. But no, Conjure, and I hope if he put his hands on you, I hope you lose interest fast. But a man, you shouldn't have to tell a person, a real man, that. But now let me tell you how you might package that. You might say, now listen, I've been in relationships in the past that turned out to be abusive. If I see signs of abuse, I'm probably going to check out. Is that another way of saying the same thing, but getting your point across? Yeah. Oh, yeah, man, Emmanuel, I appreciate that, man, for real. Hey, listen, and if you're in Arkansas on Saturday, May the 4th, we're doing an event in Little Rock. Here it is again. We're doing an event in Little Rock called The Bonding of the Sex. I do this podcast in front of a live audience. And we record now. We have community conversation at the end. It's really fun. It's really fun. It costs now. Right now we got an early bird special. It's $15 for. It's $15 for what is it? $15 for general admission, $30 for VIP. But VIP, you get VIP food. It's like a little buffet. You also get an open bar. You also get guaranteed seating, and you're also invited to the VIP reception. All those things are available. Now, the VIP reception is from 6 o'clock until 6:45 p.m. You also get to come and hang out with us and all those types of things. So, okay, you reside in Texas. Okay, cool. Well, if you ever make your way back this way, we do it every 2 or 3 months. You will not be disappointed. And even those that are doing general admission, you can do general admission. That's cool. You still get, Keisha, what do they get? You still get hors d'oeuvres. So now you don't get an open bar, but you do get hors d'oeuvres. So make sure you check that out. Please, ma'am, please, sir. Now, I have to go ahead and say this. We're getting ready to have to cut off the VIPs because VIP, we have a caterer, and the caterer needs to be able to prepare for the head count. So Friday the 19th, I will be cutting off VIP sales. You can still do general admission, and we'll probably even take some at the door. But if you plan on coming VIP, you need to purchase your ticket by the 19th, which is this Friday. Lakeisha, if you have access to the VIP reception, all right, okay, Lakeisha, if you have Conjura was one of our winners last week. She won a VIP reception. And Emmanuel, you live in Texas. She's driving over from Mississippi to come be a part of it. So she is coming over from Mississippi. Now Lakeisha's getting ready to put the link in the chat for the VIP link. Now, also, let me give y'all, because some of y'all are having trouble. Y'all are challenged. I promise you that doggone is killing y'all. Technology. So let me help you out. This is my Cash App. The Intellectual Stew. Let me give you another one. This is my Cash App. If you want to come but can't figure out the technology, Cash App me at this Cash App. Cash App the Intellectual Stew. Make sure you put your phone number and your name, or your email address and your name in the subject line, and Lakeisha will send you a ticket within 24 hours. It'll probably be faster than that, but she has children, so I'm trying to give y'all time. Okay? You can Cash App me at the Intellectual Stew. $30 if you want VIP, $15 if you want general admission. And when you do that, when my Cash App goes off, I will forward the information to Lakeisha, and whether you send your phone number or you send us your email address, you will receive a ticket electronically. Okay, that's 6 o'clock to 6:45, May the 4th. That's going to be the VIP reception, and then at 7 o'clock we'll start recording. We'll have 3 conversations. We should get through about 9:30. We got entertainment coming in too. Let me show you one more time who the entertainment is. One more time who it is. I'm gonna show you one of them. Here it is.
And I don't know what to think. The bartender bring a double shot of the Hennessy. They even know my favorite drink. And they know I got a woman, and we're doing fine. But every time they see us, they can't keep it off their mind. And it's strange when you finally find a girl. That's when everybody wants you. Everybody wants you back. Nobody told me that when you finally find love, that's when everybody wants you. Everybody wants you back. I'm not saying I'm a cheat.
Oh, my bad. I was over here grooving to that little boy. He said, crazy when every time you find somebody. That's when everybody wants you back. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I know. I did Keisha wrong, y'all. She said I have to be warned. She has to be warned when I want those links, and she's absolutely right. But she always comes through in the clutch. That's why I told y'all she's my homie. That's my partner right there. All right, so it's been real. Get your tickets by Friday if you want VIP tickets. It's worth it. The food and drinks alone is worth it. But then you get the conversation, and you get Roosevelt, and you get Ron Mack doing poetry, all those things. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be amazing. And you get to be a part of the conversation. Win-win. Win-win. All right. As I always say, as I get ready to make my exit, the world is changing. My question for you is, why do you remain the same? Y'all have a good night, and I'll check y'all out next week. Sweet Georgia Gold by Jarvis Talley is that famous celebrity award-winning competition sweet and savory sauce that you've been looking for, and it's available on Amazon. Each bottle of Sweet Georgia Gold is slow cooked in deep hickory for over 8 hours before packaging to ensure the best quality and taste. Sweet Georgia Gold is perfect for all food types: meats, seafood, chicken, veggies, and etc., and can be used as a marinade. It's kid approved because it goes great with nuggets, with popcorn and chips. Sweet Georgia Gold is also perfect as a dipping sauce. Sweet Georgia Gold is a small, Black-owned business that uses hand-picked fresh ingredients, supporting local Georgia growers. Many customers say this sauce is so good, you can literally drink it straight out of the bottle. Sweet Georgia Gold. Try it today by visiting sweetgeorgiagoldbbq.com or finding Sweet Georgia Gold on Amazon.